James Dean's Porsche 550 Spyder has become almost as famous as the actor himself, and that's saying something for a young star who made only 3 major films before becoming one of Hollywood's most talked about figures. The car was silver, tiny, brutally fast, and built with racing in mind, not comfort or safety. Dean called it Little Bastard, a nickname that sounded playful at the time and almost chilling after September 30th, 1955. That day, he was driving to a race in Salinas with his mechanic Rolf Wütherich riding beside him when a Ford Tudor turned across his path near Cholame, California. Dean died at just 24 years old, but the story of the Porsche did not end with the crash. Before we get started, drop a comment and tell us what you think happened to the Little Bastard after the wreck. Today, we're tracing what really happened to the car James Dean crashed and died in. The car. James Dean was not just playing the part of a restless young rebel on screen. Away from the camera, he loved speed, machines, and the culture of sports car racing that was growing in California during the 50s. Before the Porsche 550 Spyder, Dean had raced a Porsche 356 Speedster. He was not a veteran driver, but he had enough experience to be taken seriously in amateur racing circles. Cars were not just props to him, they were part of his identity. The 550 Spyder was a different beast. It was low, light, and quick, with a body designed to slice through air rather than protect the person inside. Its aluminum shell was beautiful, but in a crash, beauty offered very little mercy. Dean bought the car shortly after finishing work on Giant. Warner Brothers had reportedly discouraged racing while he was under production obligations, but once the film was done, Dean returned to the track world with enthusiasm. Little Bastard was prepared for competition, painted with Dean's racing number, and photographed just hours before his death. Those images now feel eerie because they show a young actor grinning beside a car already tied to one of Hollywood's darkest road stories. The crash.
This is the after effect. The car did not spin around on the ground. It went up in midair and did a barrel roll counterclockwise and landed on its wheels. Now, of course, if it had landed upside down, everybody would say, well, the car turned over. It did turn over. And if you look at, the accident in the rear end of the car, you can see that everything is crumpled in the back. But this car took a tremendous hit.
Pretty crazy story. Rest in peace, James Dean.
On September 30th, 1955, Dean set out for Salinas, where he planned to compete in a sports car race. His mechanic, Rolf Wütherich, rode in the passenger seat, while others followed behind with a station wagon and trailer. The idea was partly practical. The Spyder needed more driving time before the race, so Dean drove it instead of trailering it the whole way. That decision put Little Bastard on public roads where racing machinery met ordinary traffic. Earlier that day, Dean was stopped for speeding. Later, near the junction of what's now State Route 46 and State Route 41, a Ford Tudor, driven by Donald Turnipseed, turned left across Dean's lane. Dean tried to avoid the Ford, but the Porsche was too close and too low. The collision crushed the front of the Spyder. Wütherich was thrown from the car and badly injured. Turnipseed survived with relatively minor injuries. Dean was taken to Paso Robles War Memorial Hospital and pronounced dead. He had suffered catastrophic injuries, including a broken neck. Almost instantly, the wrecked Porsche became more than a damaged car. It became the physical center of the James Dean legend. The Salvage.
The insurance company bought the car, paid James Dean's father, Winton Dean, $6,000 for the car. Then the car moved over to All Auto Parts near Burbank.
Like a salvage yard? Or?
Yeah, a salvage yard,
Okay.
and it was put up for sale. It just so happens that one of the racers, William Eskridge, Dr. Eskridge, lived in Burbank, raced against James Dean at Palm Springs and Bakersfield and Santa Barbara, knew exactly what he was racing against. He ran a special. He was first on the scene, bought the entire wreck for $1,050.
After the crash, Little Bastard was declared a total loss. It did not sit untouched in some sacred Hollywood storage room. It entered the much less romantic world of insurance, salvage, and racing parts. The wreck was eventually sold through a salvage yard. Dr. William Eskridge, a racer who had known Dean through the sports car scene, acquired it and removed parts that could still be used. Eskridge took the Porsche engine and installed it in his own Lotus 9 race car. The engine was valuable, rare, and powerful. Even after the crash, parts of Little Bastard still had a racing life ahead of them. Other components, including transmission and suspension pieces, made their way to another racer, Troy Lee McHenry. That's where the story took its strangest turn, because the reused parts soon became linked with another deadly crash. In 1956, at the Pomona races, both Esherick and McHenry crashed. Esherick survived, but McHenry was killed when his car struck a tree. That coincidence helped launch the rumor that Dean's Porsche was not just wrecked, but cursed. The curse.
A doctor bought the engine and transmission and gave some parts to a friend of his. They went racing, and his friend was killed.
The curse story grew because it had all the ingredients people remember: a handsome young star, a fast car, a sudden death. Then more crashes tied to parts from the same machine. George Barris, the famous Hollywood custom car builder, later became closely connected to what remained of Little Bastard. Barris said he acquired the mangled body and frame, then used them in public safety displays. The idea was grim but effective. A crushed Porsche linked to James Dean could make people think twice about reckless driving. It was not just a lecture about road safety, it was a celebrity death car sitting right in front of them. As the wreck toured, stories piled up. The car supposedly fell from a display and injured a bystander. A truck driver was said to have died while transporting it. 2 tires allegedly failed at the same time after being sold. Some of these tales are hard to prove. Barris was a brilliant promoter, and many car historians have questioned how much of the curse was fact, exaggeration, or showmanship. Still, the story stuck because Little Bastard already felt like a haunted object. The disappearance.
James Dean's famous Porsche is gone, and is still gone to this day. But wait, the story gets even weirder.
By 1960, the wreck had become a traveling attraction. Then, according to the most famous version of the story, it vanished while being shipped back to California after a road safety exhibit. Barris later claimed the car had been transported in a sealed boxcar. When it arrived, the seal was intact, but the car was gone. That detail gave the disappearance the flavor of a magic trick. Skeptics have never been fully satisfied. Some believe the wreck was stolen. Others think it was hidden, misplaced, quietly scrapped, or absorbed into the shadowy world of collectors who knew exactly what it was worth. Over the years, people have claimed to know where Little Bastard ended up. One story placed it behind a false wall in a Washington state building. Another rumor suggested it had been tucked away by someone close to the car world. The problem is proof. The complete wreck has never been publicly verified. The most famous celebrity death car in America may have been destroyed, hidden, or sitting in pieces somewhere unrecognized by the person who owns it. What remains?
What's it for? He's turning left.
He's got a shit.
While the full wreck remains missing, one major piece has surfaced: the transaxle. That part, which combines the transmission and rear axle assembly, was separated from the car after the crash and passed through private hands for decades. It eventually turned up in Massachusetts after being stored for years. Its connection to Dean's Porsche was supported by documentation, including identifying numbers tied to the original car. In 2021, the transaxle sold through Bring a Trailer for $382,000. That price sounds wild until you remember what it represents. It's not just a car part, it's one of the few confirmed surviving pieces of Little Bastard. Collectors are drawn to objects with stories, and few automotive objects carry a story like this one. It connects Hollywood, racing, tragedy, rumor, and mystery in a single piece of metal. So, what happened to the car James Dean crashed and died in? The best answer is it was wrecked, stripped, displayed, mythologized, and then lost. Little Bastard did not disappear from history. It became trapped inside of one of Hollywood's strangest unsolved mysteries. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think James Dean's Porsche was cursed, stolen, hidden away by a collector, or simply lost? Let us know in the comments section below.